Special event alert.
I couldn't blouse my boots correctly because the ankle monitor was just too big. Which is excuse number 155 for being late for changeover. Your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Gentlemen, how are you?
And our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
Good to see you guys. That's a good 25-year-old call out. That's a good one.
It's just made up. We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other Earthbound branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover.
And there was much rejoicing.
Gentlemen, it's good to see you. How's the week going? How was the weekend? How's this rainy weather treating you in June?
Yeah,
Fuck,
man.
It's
Good,
crazy.
Is it raining?
Yeah.
Has it been consistently raining up there too?
Oh, God, yeah. Well, drizzling. It's not
Yeah.
heavy rain, but it's been drizzling. It's crazy. I don't know what that means about the winter. But, you know, no matter how much rain we get in Colorado, there's always a drought, gentlemen.
Always
a
drought.
drought.
Always a drought.
Water
Need-
prices always
need
high.
this water. Need this
Oh,
water.
yeah. We need this water. Yeah.
I think that's just something old men say, though. Yeah, we really need this.
I think it's what the government says because
Right.
I never can justify it. And they're like, oh, we're in a drought. You can only water 3 times a week. And I was like, every third new building you're putting up in Parker is a fucking car wash. How does that that make any sense?
Please.
You know?
Is it going on up in Parker too?
It's
Colorado
either
Springs, man.
it's a bank or a car wash or storage.
Bank
all
or
they
car
do.
wash for
Public
sure.
storage.
That's all they build here, man.
Banks
How
are on
much
every
crap
corner,
do we
man.
have?
Yeah,
Every corner.
it's ridiculous. So,
Whew.
Yeah.
so much for the water shortage, I guess. You know.
I don't
Right?
feel shortage.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, there's
leave it in
probably
rock.
one because of all the Mr. Cleans going up.
I don't
Oh,
feel
yeah,
Martin.
Yeah. Well, we as a state made the national news over the weekend.
Crazy.
Oh.
Man, that's
What
just
do you,
crazy.
you've seen that video of that Egyptian guy, right? Yelling at all of them, carrying the 2 like squirt bottles or whatever the hell he was. And I was like, he doesn't have a flame. Couldn't somebody just like charge him and take him out? I mean, he looks pretty stout.
Big boy.
You know, he was two and a quarter at least.
I guess
right?
he was from Colorado Springs area, right?
That's what I heard. Yeah, I heard Briarwood, but I'm not sure if that's
No, I don't
correct
know.
or not. So he drove his ass 2 hours
All
to
the
get
way up there.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing convinces me of an argument more than somebody going, but what if I light these people on fire? I mean, like, you know what? All right, you win this round.
Yeah.
You'll get the attention then, man. It's horrific.
I've heard some politicians counter with, well, that's why we need more gun laws. It's like gun laws
How
wasn't
is
that
that?
shit. That didn't
You
do
know what?
nothing about that.
I haven't heard any of that because Salem, Oregon
I heard
had
one.
something that Saturday before. And it was a homeless guy that just went on a shivving spree.
Ooh.
He stabbed like 11 people.
Oh,
Man.
He was
really?
like, oh, yeah.
I
But
can't.
not Jew related. None of the Jewish stuff.
I don't know.
Yours was
It
just-
could be.
I think he
who
was a
knows?
homeless guy or unhoused guy at an unhoused
Unhoused.
shelter or whatever the hell you call them.
I don't know who the actor was, but I saw a clip of him doing an interview show in Britain. And Britain, you know, has famously banned all guns.
Mm.
So they got all these stabbings over there. And he went off, I can't remember who it was, but he went off and saying, well, you know, most of these stabbings are with domestic kitchen knives. So we need to figure out a way to maybe blunt the
Domesticate our
edge of these kitchen knives. And I was like, then
'Cause
what?
that's the problem.
Right. It's like,
Like,
you're not
I mean,
really addressing the root of the issue.
I'm
here,
pretty
so.
sure all the kitchen knives are on chains in prisons, and people still get shivved
Yep.
or stabbed.
A popsicle stick is a blunt edge, but they make a hell of a
Golly.
shiv.
It just makes
I'm
me
watching a
scratch my head,
documentary
man.
where those coffee lids. One guy
Coffee
made
lids.
Yeah, they used to have the plastic coffee lids, right?
Yeah.
In prison. It was a prison guy.
Okay.
Got toilet paper, unrolled it so he could get air, lit a fire, took those like 3 plastic coffee lids, and he warmed them up, and then he went like this, and he was rolling them, and then by the
and
time
when it hardened.
yeah,
Yeah.
and by the time he had that third one, he had a freaking hardened plastic shank or shiv or whatever. I don't know which one's the noun and which one's the verb.
Yeah.
That's some creative crap going on in prison,
dude.
Man.
Yeah, nothing to do
It
but
looked scary too. I was like, dang.
Oh man, that's what isn't it?
No metal detector.
There's a term for that. I've watched the competition where they're making their swords, right? Where they fold the metal into each other, or something like that. I don't know what it is, but I guess it works with plastic too. That's good.
Dude,
that's nuts.
Because he got done with it and he's like, dink, dink, dink.
Oh,
and he like tapped it on the bowl of the toilet and he's like, yeah, this will work.
Wow.
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It's still the root of the problem is a crazy person who wants to clutch fire,
Yeah.
Or put people on fire. Yeah.
Or light people on fire or run you over with a car, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. So well, let's cheer up and get to the news.
Right? I love the news.
Look at this. Look at this. Look how I emphasize it.
I like that transition.
Well, I can't put the subtitles down there because it'll block you now. So.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, did you know that there is an Astronaut Hall of Fame?
I did not know.
I didn't either until I read this story from space.com. 2 space vets are added to the Astronaut Hall of Fame. Right? This just happened on the 31st, last Saturday. The U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame held its annual induction ceremony on Saturday, May 31st, but one of this year's 2 honorees could not attend for a reason unique to all past enshrinements. So first is Bernard Harris. He was the first black astronaut to perform a spacewalk. He came to the stage, received his induction medal, and unveiled a plaque that will represent him in the Hall of Fame at NASA's Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex in Florida. His fellow 2025 inductee, Peggy Whitson, would have done the same, but she was absent due to needing to be in quarantine ahead of her upcoming 5th launch into space. And this launch is with the private company Axiom.
Nice.
So let me show you these 2. So that's Bernard Harris, who was in person. And then on the right, that was actually a video screen because she sent like a thank you. She videotaped a thank you. But that's Peggy Whitson. So these are the 2 newest inductees to the Astronaut Hall of Fame.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. I mean, last time I went to Kennedy Center, maybe 20 years ago, but I don't remember going through the Astronaut Hall of Fame. So
no, that's cool.
Yeah, something I'll look forward to now. So let's see. Like Harris, Whitson is retired from NASA, but since 2018, she has been working for Axiom Space and is set to lead his 4th mission to the ISS, launching as soon as the 2nd week of this month. So maybe next week. Like the
now, huh?
Okay. Well,
yeah, they all are kind of right. It's just like anybody else. You get out of the military, you go into some defense industry. Like the 109 astronaut displays that are already on exhibit, Harris's backlit plaque included his portrait etched in glass, his name, year of his induction, and images of his mission patches. So they all get whatever mission they flew. However, there's a catch. It's only the missions they flew with NASA. Right? Yeah, it's nothing else now. But we really had no, other than like the Soyuz, if you went on them. But now you could go up with SpaceX. You could go up with.
But that's not going to get
really
you.
Go up with Blue Origin.
That's not going to get you in the freaking Hall of Fame.
How dare you research all the hard work Catherine Perry did?
Catherine Perry,
Katy Perry. That's right. And Gail.
When she's in space, she's Catherine.
Good point. Yeah, they're both Catherine. Harris conducted his historic EVA, historic meaning he was the first black man to walk in space, on the second of his 2 space shuttle flights in '95. So it's been a minute. Whitson is the first ever astronaut to be inducted in the Hall of Fame while in the midst of carrying out a mission, and only the second inductee to still be on active flight status at the time of her enshrinement. Mercury astronaut John Glenn, who was in the inaugural class of inductees in 1990, also flew into space after his induction as a space shuttle payload specialist in 1998.
I didn't know
So
that.
when did Glenn first go up? Early part of Mercury, right? He was the first
in the 60s.
Yeah. And then he flew as a specialist in 98 on the shuttle.
That's crazy.
Damn. Good job, John. And he was a senator, right?
We're talking about John Glenn, right?
John Glenn.
Yeah. Okay.
What Glenn did you think?
I was just making sure.
Glenn.
Bob Glenn, John Glenn, Robert Glenn. I don't know. John Glenn.
It's not
That's
Tom
what I was
Hanks.
thinking.
Okay.
Tom Glenn.
All right. So what are you you're probably asking, well, how do you get in the Hall of Fame, right? Well, like I said before, it is NASA trained crews.
How do you get in the Hall of Fame?
See, you got to get quicker at that, Eric.
I know.
You got to be a NASA trained crew member or NASA astronaut. So, which also extends which missions are acknowledged on the astronaut's display. Okay, so the only missions they show on their display are NASA missions.
Okay.
So they should probably rename it, right? I mean, you guys remember Warren Moon, the quarterback for the Houston Oilers back then? He got in the Hall of Fame, but they didn't include any of his Canadian Football League stats.
Mm-hmm.
They just included the NFL. But I think they've since changed it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
They have, yeah.
So he has all those stats. But initially, it was like, no, you don't get in qualified on CFL. You get in on your NFL stuff. So this Astronaut Hall of Fame should really be NASA Astronaut Hall of Fame.
Mm.
Yeah, you think, right?
Yeah.
One more before I answer your question, Eric, about how you get into the Hall of Fame. Let me tell you about Whitson. She set the record. This will blow you away. Whitson set the record for the most cumulative time in space by an American. How many days do you think cumulatively she has spent in space? I would have never guessed this number.
She recently beat Butch and what's her name?
Oh, yeah. It's not consecutive days.
They put up rookie numbers.
It's total number of days, right?
I can't imagine.
846.
100.
Ooh. Okay. Way low. A little bit high, Jake. 665 total days in space.
Wow.
Eric,
Yeah.
Price is Right rules. Everybody knows that.
You're over. One.
One day.
Her total off-Earth time is currently 675 days because she's flown with Axiom, not NASA. So the 665 was with NASA. The Hall was originally proposed more than 30 years ago by the 6 surviving Mercury 7 astronauts. To be inducted into the U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame, an astronaut must be a U.S. citizen, have orbited the Earth at least once, and have been NASA trained as a commander, pilot, mission specialist, or flight engineer. Additionally, at least 17 years must have passed since their first trip to space.
A lot of time.
I don't know how they come up with 17. That seems like a random number.
You'd have thought, 20 or something.
Yeah, it was like they threw a couple dice and 1 and a 7. 17. That'll work. The Astronaut Scholarship Foundation administers the selection process with inductees chosen by a committee of Hall of Fame members, former NASA officials, historians, and journalists. So this is what the Hall of Fame looks like, the entrance to it.
That's
kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's sort of
you
like
see everybody's picture.
Pretty
country
impressive.
Country Music Hall of Fame in Tennessee and Nashville.
It looks like that?
Yeah, they have the same plaque and the picture's face and then a small blurb underneath.
No,
it's all wood.
And they have a hat, though, not a helmet.
Yeah, it's all wood. It's not.
It's a spittoon in every corner.
Okay.
All right. Last quiz. How many NASA astronauts do you think there has been?
Ooh.
NASA astronauts.
Price is Right rules again?
Sure.
Price is Right rules this time. All right.
I'll say 45.
Oh, come on, Eric. There's got to be more than that.
No, they got standby ones that never actually went up there. All that.
Just going low so I don't go over.
312.
Ooh, 360 NASA astronauts to date.
Thanks, Eric.
Wow.
All right.
Redeem.
And there are 111 in the Hall of Fame.
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you know, there's got to be like some
wait.
guys who are like,
those
oh,
are pretty generous criteria then. I mean, what's the ratio of rock and roll, NFL, all that? What's the ratio of players or
true? You know, they got
to Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, sure. I mean, what 53-man roster times 32 year after year after year is the total number of players, right? And they put in like 6 or 7 or 8 every year.
A year. Yeah.
So this is a third of NASA astronauts.
Well, pretty generous. All right. It's impressive they're astronauts and impressive they're Hall of Fame members. The criteria is fairly generous, though.
But you know how if you're a fan of a team like the Broncos are always like, well, I wonder if we're going to get so-and-so in this year. It's like, he played like 40 years ago. You're still trying to lobby to get him in, right?
No.
I mean, what if you're an astronaut? It's like, I went up like a couple times. You know, I've been up there. How come I'm not in? What did I not do?
You cussed on the microphone.
That might be it.
I'd be out. I'm not getting anywhere near that qualification.
I mean, you really got to kiss NASA's ass to be in the Astronaut Hall of Fame, right?
I think so.
You know, I mean, one bad word, you're like,
you got a Boy Scout sash of all your missions tattooed on you.
Right.
Those are my mission logs.
I am the man.
I mean, you probably would have been in, but you probably shouldn't call the mission director a piece of shit, I guess.
On mission number 2,
you put the NASA patch tattoo on your ass, dude. You're not going to qualify.
You can't.
I got it tattooed. You said I had a tattoo. You didn't say where.
You can't drink out of the model Gemini capsule we gave you. That's not NASA's image, baby. That's not
you
what we
wore
do.
out the Velcro 3 times. Requested migraine medicine 8
Velcro
times.
all over the place.
Yeah, any astronaut who's copulated up into space is not. They should, but they're not getting in the Astronaut Hall of Fame.
No, that's a claim to fame that stays quiet.
They should. I mean, I would salute the hell out of it. I'd be like, yeah, about time.
Good
At least
on
our taxpayer dollars are going to something.
You think they signed the wall on the ISS?
Oh, they got to, right?
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I mean, not from copulation purposes, but I mean, like when you log out and like deorbit, and you're like,
I was here.
Like, Butch, what are all those hash marks on the wall there? Like, count 27. What is that?
It's like you're an ace.
It's like, oh, I was just counting the days, and then body count up there. Hall of Fame.
There's a bootleg Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah. There's the ones that the bar at the end of the road where they're all like, "Hey, let me tell you about this guy."
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Exactly.
So good on you, Harris and Whitmer.
Yeah, nice.
Whitson. Sorry about that. So congratulations to them.
Glenn went up in 62.
So his first time in 62, and then he went up in 98 with the shuttle. God dang.
And
36.
I didn't know the autopilot broke on the end of his first rev. So he manual piloted.
Oh, really?
The next 2 revs.
If you think about it, between the right stuff, Journey to the Moon, or whatever that series was. What was that HBO one that the Vandenberg instructors would always put on in between classes, and they were like, "Hey, I don't have nothing else to teach you. You guys can watch From the Earth to the Moon." That series, From the Earth to the Moon, right? All those early guys, we just don't appreciate the manual shit that they had to do. I mean, they're flying with by sight, the Apollo 13 mission where he had to make that thrusting maneuver and keep the star in the window. I was like, oh my God, man, that is nuts.
That's crazy.
I'm sure Catherine Perry probably could have done something similar, but maybe they just didn't have enough time up there.
That's her Christian name.
Catherine Perry. All right, let's move on. Last week, we talked some good news for the troops when they had that bill for no taxes on bonuses.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, here's another one coming. This one's from Task and Purpose. All right. So the Pentagon wants troops to change duty stations less often. We talked about this sort of in the past, but now they're putting it out to the services. It's kind of a weak way to do it, but they're like, services, let us know what your plan is, what you think about this. So let me cover this in brief, and then you'll get the gist of the way this article is written. It's written mostly for cost, but see what idea pops in your head by the time I'm done with it. Pentagon is asking the services to come up with plans that would limit the number of moves that military families make every few years. The Department of Defense is asking the military services to determine which PCS are lower priority and would help families, quote, seeking greater geographic stability and provide efficiencies for cost cutting. The policy changes are directed at both improving military families' quality of life and being efficient with taxpayer dollars. Okay, I'm on board, right? So far. Military family advocates have long asked for a change, citing challenges like finding new childcare, the disruption caused by having kids change schools, or forcing spouses to find new jobs on top of needing to find a new home. Okay, I buy that too. In the Blue Star Families 2024 survey, I've never heard of Blue Star Families. I'm not sure what that organization is. A third of active duty service members and spouses cited PCS moves as one of their top issues with military life. Yeah, I would imagine for the spouses and the family, that's pretty disrupting. However, it's also been the way the military has gone for 150 years, whatever.
But the other side of that coin is those of us who joined the military to travel. PCS every 2 or 3 years and get the hell out.
I hear you.
For me, I stayed in Charleston almost 5 years, and I was ready to go.
Yeah, right.
I was ready to go.
PCSs.
I was ready. Yeah, can I have one? I mean, so I get the family piece when you get married, and then there's also the piece of what about the single airman who ends up taking most of the PCS because they don't want to mess with the families, and that happened a couple times. Where they sent the single guy versus
yeah. They screwed the single guy all the time. Right?
Yeah.
Go.
This might be answered in the article, but what was the original? Like, what's the reason for such 2 to 4 years? Is the
I don't know. We talked about this before with no answer.
Yeah,
I mean, why did we do that? Now, the only thing I can reach back to is like World War after. I don't know. That doesn't even make sense, really.
Well, I think it had something to do with breadth of experience in your career fields too. Moving to different duty locations, enhancing what you know, different jobs. Because the cops in the missile field, if they didn't leave, all they knew was missiles.
They were going to die from cancer. So,
yeah. So you had to get out of there early enough so you didn't die from cancer.
Well, there you go. That makes sense.
That's so true.
I don't know. We should look that up. But my speculation is kind of like a wartime move. You're going to go, maybe it was Vietnam, whatever. Maybe it was World War II. You're going to go, you're going to do take unaccompanied tours, right? I don't even know if there are any unaccompanied tours. But they'd send you to Korea for a year without your family. Then you'd rotate back. Well, you need other people to rotate so you can fit back, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that generates this constant. Or you go to Germany during the Cold War, you're probably on alert a lot. You're probably on a lot of duty. So they rotate you back to give you a break, right?
Yeah.
I could see that.
But nowadays, I don't know. I don't know if there's got to be a good reason for it, but it's more like I look forward to moving because it was like, where's the next place going to be? Because I started at Fort Polk.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can't wait. Where am I going next? Then I went to Texas. Then I went to Hawaii, and I was like, all right, great. So,
yeah, all my first until I went dirty, all mine are reserve. Sorry, until I went reserve. Still calling it dirty. All mine were 4-year controlled tours. Like,
oh yeah, right.
You
right,
knew
right.
you were minimum of 4, and then maybe if you wanted to extend, but at that 4, you were moving normally.
But that was also part of you signing the chit, right? Signing off on, yes, I know it's a controlled tour. I agree to do it. I'm going, right?
But Alaska was a controlled tour because it costs so much money for you to get up there and get established, right?
Yeah.
And then Buckley wasn't really a controlled tour. That one was kind of a pushed out because of forced downsizing. But Schoolhouse was a controlled tour.
Right.
That was 4 years.
So we're like Green Door assignments. They're controlled.
Yep, Green Door, that's exactly it. The Raiders area was a minimum of 4 years.
I don't recall having any.
Really? Even when
all
you
mine,
did
almost
the Stinger
all mine
stuff?
were 4-year minimum.
No, I was special duty for a year. It was 1 year.
That was it? Golly.
Yeah.
It was like, they should have kept you. I mean, like, we did all this to train you.
Hell yeah.
Fuck it, I want to keep you for more than 1 year, right?
Yep.
So anyway, this article is talking about the biggest thing about cost and family disruption. But there is one line in this memo that says, the memo calls for recommendation. Listen to this. They haven't figured this one out. That's why they didn't go into it. The memo calls for recommendations that would allow NCOs to specialize in lieu of gaining generalized experience. So you're going to keep them there for double the tour, 6, 8 years? You'd go batty. You'd go batty.
No, dude. Half those dudes on Schriever have been out there for like 8 years.
Yeah, well, they're also critically manned, and they're especially. Yeah, I get it. I know.
Still, man,
right. But they also do a lot of PCAs within Schriever.
Yeah, within Schriever. Yeah,
because there's 6 squadrons there or whatever, so you can just go. To keep yourself a Schriever, it's like, what? Get out, dude! Get out of here!
Just go.
This guy, Dill, I lost who he was. I don't know. But he told reporters that the changes could mean fewer PCS moves for both single service members and those with families. Each year, the department spends nearly $5 billion on PCS moves, according to the memo. In order to reduce costs, each of the branches are directed to develop plans to curtail PCS discretionary move budgets with proposed percentage cuts for travel within the U.S., overseas, and at training sites. Dill said the Defense Department estimates that about 80% of PCS moves are in the discretionary category and 20% are mandatory. I didn't know about that.
Why don't they keep the O's? Like, they keep officers like less time than enlisted guys, though. Like, officers are like 2 years and gone. Right?
True. Yeah.
And then the acquisitions thing, 2 years, you're not getting anything done in acquisitions life in 2 years. So it makes sense to keep them for a long time.
Well, I can only speak to the Army Junior Officer Corps.
Yeah.
Army defines your career by the positions that you're holding, right? And you want to eventually get to command as a captain. So you go to a battalion and you got 15 captains competing for 5 command spots and like 3 or 4 staff spots. Everybody else is like an assistant here, assistant there, assistant there. So you just got guys crawling over each other. Now,
and they become non-promotes.
If you don't get
that's all that mindset, though. That's all that is. It's not a mandatory thing.
Yeah.
It's leadership's mindset in that whole aspect.
It's true. It's the way they look at the your OPRs, the way that, hey, did you get this command? Oh, you didn't? Why? And then you have to go to some other unit to try to get a command there. But now you're a senior captain and you've already got a stain on you. So I don't know if the Air Force officer moves are that way, but even if you look at NCO moves, right? Let's say you're waiting to get, well, reserves, it wouldn't work, but active duty, they're billeted too, right? They're only going to carry so many techs, so many masters, so many seniors, right? So if you're there, you almost become like the guard. You're like, I wish that guy would leave so I could maybe get promoted up in there, right? Because if you're eligible but no slot,
You're not getting
good
it.
for you.
Then
You're
they
still
force you.
a tech. You're not a master. You're just a
You're
tech waiting
nothing.
for a
I mean,
master slot. So
Maybe that could solve the whole thing. You don't PCS until you make rank.
no.
That's an idea.
And a lot of guys don't. They'll make rank knowing they're leaving, but they've already got that other assignment.
Yeah.
But you take that away and you go to 6 or 8 years. Now you're like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? Right? I don't know.
I'm going to study my ass off to get out of here.
Again, I think they're attacking this for one reason, which is a good reason for the family, but it doesn't necessarily. They haven't figured out the career piece of this, right?
No, as usual.
Come on, Eric, wake up!
No, man.
I know Eric's falling asleep.
Too much golfing today, man. Too much.
Well, did you golf today? Did you golf today?
No, it was raining, man, or I would have. I got a tee time at 7:40 in the morning, so that's that early morning that does it.
We'll do it 7:40. Wow.
Yeah.
The services are required to submit their official plans by September 25th of this year. So, obviously, this year, by this September. I should have just said this September.
Yeah. No, I liked it though.
Obviously.
The detail was important.
Get off this story. Let's pivot now from some good news.
Pivot.
Do some actually horrifying news.
Oh, even better.
Oh my God. So, yes, that's a pretty tame way to say this next article from Task and Purpose. Yeah. Navy ends experiments using cats and dogs as test subjects. Okay. I didn't even know they were experimenting on cats and dogs. Had no idea.
What kind of experimenting are we talking about?
I will tell you, and it'll curl your toes when you hear it. And you tell me if you want to see the video at the end. The Navy announced the termination of all research testing on cats and dogs after facing increased pressure from lawmakers and animal rights groups. Calling the end to the experiments long overdue, Navy Secretary John Phelan has ordered the Service Surgeon General to review all medical research programs to ensure they align with ethical practices and true scientific necessity. Necessity is an interesting word they use.
Yeah.
Right. The Navy Secretary thanked the administration of President Donald Trump, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, for vetting and ending contracts that fund experiments on dogs and cats.
Go figure.
Anthony Bellotti, president of the White Coat Waste Project. They were a big player in this, a nonprofit watchdog that tracks animal testing by federal agencies. The group estimated the federal government spends $20 billion annually on research studies using dog and cats as test subjects.
That much money.
What the hell are we doing testing in the military?
You know what we're testing.
Well,
we're testing some horrible crap. It's not like no-tier shampoo stuff.
Horrible.
Yeah,
and I don't even know what the point of the testing was. I just found out what they were doing. The Trump administration earlier this month pulled the plug on a $10 million study funded by the Defense Department that involved giving electroshocks to cats in experiments on constipation and incontinence.
Oh my God.
I know, we're doing this.
The poor cat, man.
The animal
Dude, not
rights
only
group,
are you constipated and bloaty, but they're shocking your butthole too.
I'm trying.
Oh, it's not going to relax. That's not helping.
Oh my goodness.
The animal rights group PETA praised the Navy's elimination of testing using dogs and cats, but it also urged additional restrictions, including a ban on the use of dogs, cats, non-human primates, marine animals, and other animals currently permitted in Army weapon wounding tests.
Wow.
So we're just shooting at animals?
And figuring out what the wound does and how to heal it? Wow.
Dude.
The animal rights group also pressed for an end to Defense Department funding animal tests at foreign institutions. So Do you want to see the White Coat Waste Project has its own website? They're the ones who've been lobbying for a lot of these, and they won this successful one about the testing on cats that Trump took away. So
That's
they
brilliant.
have a website where they had like an undercover video. Do you want to see the minute of undercover video? Guess what? You're going to see the minute.
I
of
would love to
undercover
see
video.
it for science purposes.
All right, here we go.
This cat was abused and killed. Did you waste your money on cat?
So I think that pack on the back of it is housing the electrics that are tapped into its spinal cord.
Oh my God, man! Ah!
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all. But at least he gets an erection out of it.
I don't know how that helps.
Oh my God!
Right. It gets really horrible with these couple clips here. You look at it, you're like, oh.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
I had no idea, man. Oh my God!
Well,
So
trying to make
Why-
super soldiers as usual.
I mean, it seems like it's like, yeah, I know when you put an electric thing on my cheek, it's gonna make my eye twitch. I get it. I think we've known that. I don't know what we're breaking ground on. You know what I mean?
Man, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the like self-aid buddy care goats?
I'm sure I have in some of those old videos. What are you talking about specifically?
Oh, these goats are humanely put down, but they're like, okay, well, we'll inflict a battle wound on
you
this
have to-
goat
right.
that
you have
you've
to
been
dress-
hanging around with for 2
Right.
weeks and it's
Right.
been your buddy for 2 weeks. Now we're gonna damage this goat, and we're like, all right, do work, boys.
Oh.
They had a real famous, well, not I don't know famous, but they
not
were
great.
showing it for decades. It was, we called it in the Army, it was called the goat film or something like that, the goat movie. And they would show the effects of a sabot round from a tank, which is a depleted uranium dart, right? So as it fires, the fins off the back fall off, and it's just this like high velocity depleted uranium dart that punches through an armor hole and punches through the other side at such force it creates a vacuum.
Yep.
Oh.
And so the video would be like this goat and this 113 tied to it in the inside, and they raise the ramp. They go bang, and the tank fires around through it, and then they lower the ramp, and it's nothing but red. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh man.
That's what this round is supposed to do to people?
We
I mean-
figured that out pretty quick, didn't we? Did we have to kill like multiple goats to figure that one out?
I don't know.
Just
Some
in
physicists
case.
figured
Just
it out.
in case.
Just in
Maybe
What
that
about-
goat was
Oh,
soft. That was a
Man.
weak ass goat.
You know, they
That
always
is
talk
so
about like,
brutal.
Australians are always like, well, what if the kangaroos rise up? Well, what if we're overcome by birds or alligators? There's no movie where goats are coming after us because we have figured out how to take care of goats over and over and over again.
We've
We got you,
annihilated the
goats.
And the goats are like, hey, we don't want any of that shit.
Yeah.
We'll sacrifice a couple a year. Just
Can't
keep
we
us
just
off your
climb some
list.
shit? That's all we really want to do.
And unknown to us, the cats aren't doing much better either.
No, cats are
Ooh.
paying the price, boy. They were paying the
Man.
price.
I had no idea we did that kind of shit.
I didn't either. Isn't that nuts?
Wow.
Why is the Navy testing on cats? That's what I would really want to find out. Is like, what are the results of this? What did we get out of this? Right?
And are they working for DARPA or something, man? You got some kind of crazy-
Yeah, like some nerve agent. They're like, hey, look what we can
Oh,
do.
man.
It's like, well, if we ever get a weapon that can make a terrorist shit out of marble, I guess there we go. All that cat experimentation.
You know what it is? Actually, you know what it is? And we should probably be really thanking these cats.
Oh my
is
God.
all the constipation from the MREs.
Yeah.
So
good
what they're
point,
trying
good
to do
point.
is make military members actually shit after they've had 2 MREs. And that's simulated, unfortunately, by adding a marble to the digestive tract of these cats.
That's your cheese spread right there.
That's
marble.
Oh,
that's
man.
jalapeno cheese and
So
a
maybe
cracker.
maybe they're
That's
going
a
to
solid
develop
marble right there, boys.
like an atropine injector, but it's like a little electrical device in the MRE, and they're like, hey, in case you're constipated, jam this up your ass. Like, shock
Thanks
yourself
to
through
Cat 478.
Oh,
All
I
right, so
feel
here's
much
the
better.
problem. How many guys go to the doctor now and say, "Hey, I still have this marble in my ass. I kept sticking it up there, and I can't."
What's the
It's cheese
percentage?
spread, I promise.
What's my percentage for the embedded marble? 20? All right, I'll take it.
Oh, good Lord, what have we done?
Yeah, that was a weird one to run across, but I knew you guys would appreciate it.
We appreciate
Okay.
it, but that's rough.
Yeah,
That's rough.
yeah, I know it was.
That is rough.
So we have some bad news, but not at the level of cat experimentation. So this one was from stripes.com. So Hotlips Houlihan, Loretta Swit, an Emmy winner who played Hotlips Houlihan on the pioneering TV series M.A.S.H. She died at 87.
No,
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty
she
good.
did good life.
Loretta Swit, who won 2 Emmy Awards playing Major Margaret Houlihan, the demanding head nurse on the pioneering hit TV series M.A.S.H. She died last Friday at her home in New York City, likely from natural causes. So Loretta Swit, and Alan Alda, who played Hawkeye, were the longest-serving cast members on M.A.S.H., which was based on Robert Altman's 1970s film, which was itself based on a novel by Richard Hooker. The CBS show aired for 11 years, from 72 to 83, revolving around life at the 4077 Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War, which gave the show its name. The 2.5-hour finale on February 28, 1983, lured over 100 million viewers, the most watched episode of any scripted series ever. Rolling Stone magazine put M.A.S.H. at number 25 of the best TV shows of all time.
I believe that. It was a good show.
It was well written, like we had talked before the show. It was well written, except for that damn laugh track, which I didn't notice at the time watching it.
Sure.
But now you can't help it. It's like, oh, just get rid of the laugh track. It'd probably be a lot funnier.
That was at the time, you know.
Yeah, you're right. There's I think that's the later cast of M.A.S.H., right? Because they replaced
the Colonel Blake.
BJ was the other doctor. They replaced him. No. What was his name? That was BJ, right? Over Alan Alda's shoulder.
Honeycutt was the other one.
Yeah.
BJ Honeycutt, but Trapper. Trapper was the original.
Trapper John, yeah.
Those two, Honeycutt and Allen, those are the ones I remember.
Yeah, right. And that was towards the later stages. There's Loretta Swit there, of course, right in the front. Winchester's behind him. He replaced Burns. Frank Burns was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, he was funny.
And even Potter replaced Colonel Blake.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that episode? That one brought tears in my eyes.
Where the helicopter crash?
Yeah. And Radar came in and told everybody that
Radar was cool, and
Klinger was my favorite.
Klinger was funny.
God, you could never get away with what he was doing in that show. Trying to get a Section 8 by dressing in women's clothes.
What's funny. They just all blatantly ignored it. They're like, whatever. Go back to work.
They would even ask him. It was like,
whatever.
Oh, you got pearls on
Go
today.
to work.
It's like, yes, sir. It's formal.
You look good today.
That's what would be funny. Can you imagine that happening today? And then somebody going, whatever, go back to work. Nobody cares.
Oh, no, you'd be fired.
The reaction you would get from that response would be ridiculous.
And
you'd be fired.
And you're right. I loved the spirit that they were like, oh, yeah, we all know he's trying to get out of Section 8. He just wears dresses and women's clothing all the time. What was some moments that you remember that you like?
Oh man, I think one of the favorite was when Blake was killed. It was so because it was so sad, man.
That was a good episode. That's true. Yeah.
And then there was one where Houlihan got drunk and was trying to do it with Frank, and the tent fell down around him. You remember?
Because they were trying to hide that relationship the
Yeah,
whole time.
and the whole tent fell out.
Right.
I'm not sure how GP medium or GP large fell out that way, but walls fell out. That was pretty good. That was funny.
I remember. I mean, you're right. The little one-liners were great, and the acceptance of things that happen. Radar would know shit that was happening before it even happened. He knew when choppers were coming.
He knew everything.
The Klinger still is pretty damn funny. Yeah, because it was always a background character, and he was just dressed up in different ways with a parasol or whatever the hell it was. But I liked 5 o'clock Charlie. Did you ever catch the ones when they ran 5 o'clock Charlie? Yeah,
one bomb.
Let's see. I clipped this off of YouTube, and I haven't had great luck with YouTube, so they'll probably ban this one too.
Oh, banned.
But maybe I can get away with this 30 seconds. So
I doubt it. Hey, YouTube people.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Peeking to me, fragile.
There he is. 5 o'clock
Charlie right there.
Well done, Sean.
That's Trapper, by the way. That one was Trapper.
That was Trapper. Yeah. But it was such a great little recurring bit that they did. This guy would fly by and drop one bomb. I think one time he hit the general's Jeep. I think it was a visiting general or something like that.
I liked the back and forth, and then between the two main doctors, and then the acceptance but harassment they gave that other doctor.
Charles, when Winchester came, or you probably remember Winchester. Or
I don't
Burns.
remember that. It was
Frank
Honeycutt. Burns. Honeycutt was the one I remember.
BJ. BJ and Hawkeye, right?
Honeycutt and Hawkeye were the back and forth I enjoyed.
And they were fast too, and it was good. Very
Winchester
clever.
would have been the other guy that you.
Then the other guy with the hairline, like the U-shaped.
That
hairline.
was Charles. Yeah,
and they accepted him, but they were just still throwing jabs, which was fantastic.
Right. Yeah, it was, and no episodes were really the same, and they weren't really that boring. And they'd throw in a serious one every once in a while.
What I like too is they had all the up and coming actors as wounded soldiers. If you were, I mean, they always had.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, man! They always had guys that weren't really big known names, but they were on their way up. And then
when they got their spot on M.A.S.H.
Yeah, they would be a soldier that was wounded, or that was pretty cool. I like that too.
Yeah, good series. Rest in peace, Loretta Swit.
Yeah,
Hotlips Houlihan.
Hotlips.
Have you ever watched the movie M.A.S.H?
I have.
It is significantly different in tone from the series. It was so trippy and heavy in the 70s or 60s or whatever they made it.
Late 60s.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't Loretta Swit then either. It was
no, who was the woman?
The big blonde.
Well, that helps. There you go.
Big blonde. I can't remember.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Elliot Gould. Elliot Gould was one of the doctors too, I think, right?
Yep.
So, all right, Eric, why don't you take us home with some military history?
You're going to get a kick out of this.
And we are looking forward to these because you've been so creative on them. And the shorts with your military history have been doing pretty well. 700 views on it. Yeah, I like it.
So
it used to be just I'm tired of doing this crap. Can one of you please do something to contribute other than trash talk?
Oh,
well, that was Eric's big. When I retire, you know how much I'm going to do for this show?
All the history. Meanwhile, you're at news article number 2.5, and he's like, "Oh God, I had to get up at 8 today, guys."
I was a little tired, man. That's all.
I scratched my ass, looked out, and it was like raining. No golf today.
Well, hell, I told Marty, I said it was 10 till 7. I went, oh shit, I got the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So this one, it's how ironic. It's really crazy. So listen to this. On this day, June 3rd, 60 years ago.
60
years ago. a NASA astronaut stepped outside his Gemini spacecraft and made history as the first American to perform an EVA or spacewalk.
No
The
way.
first American to perform an EVA.
The first one. Yeah. So
In your face, Catherine Perry.
yeah, you guys, I'm sure that this guy's already in the Hall of Fame. NASA astronaut Edward White II left his Gemini 4 capsule.
Ed White. Oh.
The second.
Left his Gemini 4 capsule and crewmate Jim McDivitt for a 20-minute spacewalk on June 3rd, 1965.
God,
only
imagine.
Second EVA ever made, because the first one was done by a Soviet, Alexia Leonov, a few months earlier. Yeah,
Soviets had a lot of firsts on us back then.
back in space.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Everything.
Yeah. So I thought
Except
that was
the moon.
how ironic. We were starting to talk about astronauts, and I'm like, I wonder if Ed's in the Hall of Fame.
Let's find out.
I bet he is. But I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean,
Not
they
so much
did,
military related. I wanted to be a nicer kind of guy tonight, not blood and gore and shit.
I
blowing
liked
up.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I like those.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, me too.
He was inducted in the Astronaut Hall of Fame in 1993.
Yeah, there you
Nice.
go,
And he's also in the National Aviation Hall of Fame.
dude.
Impressive.
Yeesh. Yeah.
First EVA, man. First EVA. That's awesome.
I mean, imagine these guys and like, hey, you don't need to pilot anymore. Look at these hot chicks we got going up in jumpsuits, and they're
and
bouncing
news
around.
reporters. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't got to do nothing. These guys would be like,
Yep. Rolling. Dude, think about the qualifications that some of these guys had.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
insane.
Right.
Right? They were like World War II or like Vietnam era aces.
Yes.
Or
Right?
test pilots,
Like John Glenn.
extraordinaire. Yeah.
Vietnam era ace, not in the F4 Phantom. I did check. I'm sorry. But ace, which is awesome as hell. Like, that's crazy.
Period.
Yeah.
Test pilot,
Yeah.
which is like, that job is ridiculous. We're like,
you're gonna die every flight. Every flight, you're gonna die.
Right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, and then, hey, let's lose 30 pounds because this freaking plane can't take you up and make the range.
Yeah.
Like that. And you're like, what the hell is going on?
Well, and they got these guys just in case they had to do some crazy maneuver in space, manually pilot that craft.
Yeah, but nobody had been in that environment.
Never
Ever.
before. Right.
Is there any wind up there to pilot?
No.
No
Yeah,
expectations.
it's all retrojets.
So how
It's
do I
all-
come back? You just come
It's all
down.
this.
Yeah, you just come back down. You're like,
Yeah.
there's no atmosphere or anything. Well, yeah,
We
it'll
don't-
Well,
get
there is.
No.
In fact, the right
don't
below
know.
your feet is going to be about 1,000 degrees. So
Ooh.
we've got this thin layer of protecting
Yeah.
stuff. You'll be fine. We think you'll be fine.
very good. I mean, the dog
Yeah.
survived.
Sign
But,
right here.
The more you guys come back, the more we learn. So
Yeah.
it'll be better, right?
Sign right here.
Dude, exactly.
Pretty badass. Ed White, the second.
The
Second.
second.
First
The first didn't do
American.
shit.
First American to do an EVA.
To an EVA.
Good bookend, Eric, because we
Right.
had the first Black American to do
Yeah, I
an
was
EVA.
like, what a coincidence.
Or I shouldn't even say Black American. First Black man ever
Ever?
to do an EVA.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, because it's not like Cameroon was putting up astronauts up there, man.
And you know Russia
Cameroon
wasn't.
Astronaut Hall of Fame. You know.
Hey, was he prior Navy?
Oh,
He
my
was
God,
actually.
Eric.
You son of a bitch, you. Oh man.
If you're not following this show, you just
Oh.
missed that jump.
You.
Start the music because that's a fitting end. We
Oh,
better get the hell
man.
out of here based on how many people
Oh.
we've offended today.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my God, on behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and don't tell on us how we did in the comments, and make sure next week that you are not.
J for
Eric,
Yep.
Jake, thanks for the week.
Hey, for the
Go.
record, Eric, no military experience, master's degree in biomedical, and a doctorate in he was actually a clinical doctor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Harris.
The guy who just got inducted?
Junior. Yeah.
Wow. That's a hell of a resume.
And then an astronaut, just for funsies.
That's my hobby.
Inducted with a woman who spent 675 days in space.
That's crazy.
That's a hell of a class.
God,
Okay,
man.
I take it
Weight
back
loss-
about
weight loss
the
program.
Yeah, all right. So you
freaking
guys are-
criteria.
Yeah,
all right, I take it back. My
Yeah.
associates in aircraft armament really hold some significant weight.
What about my CCAF?
Exactly. It's crooked in the
It's a
in the
big
frame
deal.
right now.
Yeah. Do I get in? No.
Big deal.
It's a favoritism.
Favoritism. It's because I wasn't in the Navy, isn't it?
You couldn't get in, Jake. To everyone listening and watching, thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.